right center field. That's got carry. It's gone. Number 500 and history for Miguel Cabrera.
Bottom line is, man, it's hard to break us now. It's hard to break us. As a matter of fact, you ain't going to do it.
Open look going as he hits it. What a play called by Tom Izzo in that timeout.
I was 7 years old watching a football game by myself, and I saw those winged helmets come out of the tunnel, and I was hooked at that point.
Kane in Chicago! Oh my God! Kane with the overtime winner!
Jameer Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
He drives, lobs to JD for a jam.
You play real good, you start. You don't play as good, you work your way back in. It's the American way, except America has gotten soft. But that is the American way. That's the way it works.
This is the 6'6" Kane Cunningham! Jameson Williams, he's got it! Touchdown, Lions! Now it's Larkin with a burst of speed. He scores! Gives the United States the lead for the first time tonight.
Yeah, wish we could say the same for the game against Vegas last night. Welcome, everybody, on a Tullymore Thursday. Glad you're with us on X's and Bros throughout this wonderful state of Michigan. I'm Matt Shepard. Trent Bally is our producer. Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. The text line is Sports Radio 21,000. And as we stream to you live on Twitter and stream to you live on Facebook and YouTube as well, we always welcome your input in the comments section so we can get to what's ever on your mind in the world of sports. Dylan Larkin took a nasty, and I mean a wicked, cross-check while on a power play last night with no call. It was literally right in front of the net. We sit there and we will complain about the lack of free throw attempts by Cade Cunningham. And sometimes we feel they're very obvious. We feel like he's being fouled. How is a guy like that, who is so aggressive and should be aggressive anyway, getting over the line twice in a game, which was the case last game against Cleveland, and they're in San Antonio tonight. But you find it hard to believe, don't you? I mean, especially when you got guys like Luka Doncic getting there 10.5 times, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting there 7.7 times going into the game last night against New York. And you heard what Mike Brown said, I'm sure, about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Does a really good job of convincing the refs that he's getting hit. And he went to the line last night, you know, on average, 7.7, right? Last night he was 7 for 7 from the line in a 3-point win in New York against the Knicks. Dressed up like a big fur ball afterwards, before and afterwards. It was a very interesting way to make an entrance.
Shep, I almost sent that to you when I saw that because I thought of you. I'm like, this is going to go great.
Did you see him talking into the microphone?
Yeah,
afterwards?
he couldn't even get his chin above the.
I know.
Above the whatever that was, whatever you call that. Collar. When he was talking, it was puffing. It was puffing out. It was crazy. Anyway, we talk about how Cade Cunningham doesn't get to the line enough and deserves to get there more. And I get it. Last night, the cross check to the lower back / rib cage of Dylan Larkin that sent then his head into an opposing person's back, okay, an opposing defenseman's back, and forced him to leave the game for just a period of time because he's a hockey player. He comes back. No call. I mean, it was blatant. It was right there in front. And I can't understand how that happens. Should have been a 5-on-3, and who knows what happens. But Detroit ends up losing. Doesn't change the fact that they blew a 3-1 lead in the third. Okay, it doesn't change the fact that you've got look, I really, there's a part of me, I think Steve Yzerman, his best move has been getting John Gibson. All right, John Gibson's hurt. Cam Talbot comes in. Talbot was pretty good in the first two periods. You can't give up those last two goals. Defense in front of you is, I mean, the Sider play and Edvinson, I suppose the second goal wasn't necessarily on him, but man alive. Anyway, they lose 4-3 in overtime because Mitch Marner happened to be the best player on the ice. He had a goal and 2 assists. Detroit will take the point, which is fine. But
when you have games, when other teams have games in hand on you, and Tampa's got 3 games in hand on you, and Buffalo's got a game in hand on you, and Montreal's chasing you, and they've got 2 games in hand on you, you've got to take advantage of a 3-1 lead. I'm not telling you you've got to go out and win every single game, but when you go into the final 20 minutes and you're up 2 goals at home, you should win that game. On an emotional night that celebrated all the Olympians and celebrated Patrick Kane becoming the all-time leader in U.S.-born history hockey players for points, which we'll get to here in a moment. 4-3 the final. DeBrincat, 21 points in 21 games. He had a goal for Detroit along with Emmett Finney and Simon Edvinsson. Pistons, as I mentioned, are in San Antonio for their season series wrap-up with the Spurs. Remember, San Antonio beat Detroit by 11 in February. San Antonio has won 4 straight at home. They're 21-6 on their home floor. Despite the loss to Cleveland the other night, the Pistons have won 10 of their last 12 on the road. Senior night in East Lansing. MSU welcomes Rutgers to the Breslin Center, while Michigan visits Iowa, looking to become the first Big Ten team since the 1975-76 Indiana Hoosiers to go undefeated on the road. They're 9-0 away from Chrysler Center. They're 17-1 in conference play. If we have time, we'll try to touch on those 2 happenings, one in East Lansing and one at Iowa. U of D advances in the Horizon League tournament. They beat UW Milwaukee 84-63. Brody Robinson goes nuts. He had 36 points and hit 10 triples. Oakland falls to Northern Kentucky 85-84. It's disappointing. That's a tough, and I mean a really, really tough situation for anybody playing in that league, only because you're only getting 1 bid. So you've got to be good in the tournament. Doesn't matter how good you are during the regular season. Mitch Lyons well-poll question. Okay, and today is Thursday. Okay, do you expect Steve Yzerman to make a deal? Will the Red Wings make a trade? Simple yes or no is fine, and we'll give you the results in the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow on Friday. That's wishful thinking on my part. I am a little confused. I listen to a number of podcasts when I can. And I try to stay up to date, just like you do, on a number of different topics, including the NHL. And I was listening to one the other day, and they were talking about possible trades and who the Red Wings might target. Rasmus Ristolainen, a Finn defenseman, right-handed shot, big guy, is one of those players that they've talked about. He's 6'4", 210 pounds. So Jeff Merrick, who covers hockey exclusively, was talking about it, and his quote was, "I know for sure the Red Wings have checked down on Ristolainen a few times." All right. If that's the case, and you know how I feel, you know who I wanted, Dougie Hamilton. If that's the case, okay. It's an upgrade. He'd be a second line D, maybe in a first. Okay. He's a guy who he's going to give you 20 minutes a night. All right. Here's my problem. I mean, early in his career, he's 25, 26 minutes a night. He's a minus player. And for defensemen, that's a big deal. He's a minus player. He has played 13 years in the National Hockey League. Okay. He has 1+ season. That's it. It was last year with Philly. He was a +3. Every other year, and sometimes it's on a bad team, right? He's on Buffalo there. He's a -32. Don't hold it against him. The next year, he was a -21. Try not to hold against him. He's a -25. He's a -41. He's a -18. In his career, Rasmus Ristolainen is a -182 player. On top of that, he has never scored more than 9 goals in a season. He's a defenseman. I get it. 9 goals in a season. Here's his last 4 years. He's got 1 goal this year. He had 4 last year, 1 goal the year before, and 3 the year before that, 2 before that. If you're a minus player and you're not scoring, how are you helping your team? Big body, yeah, but come on. A little word of caution there. We'll talk more about it on the other side. We've got plenty to discuss. We're going the gamut today for sure. All the sports that are on your mind here on X's and Bros on a Tullymore Thursday, brought to you by Mitch Lanswell.
You've worked hard for decades saving in pre-tax retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs, saving on taxes now. But as your retirement now approaches, you're going to get taxed at rates you have no control over. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Your 401k balance isn't worth what your statement says. You could lose thousands of dollars to taxes, and those distributions can impact other areas of your retirement like Social Security and Medicare. Could a Roth IRA conversion be of help to you? You've probably heard of Roth conversions, but it can be confusing. Should you convert all at once or over time? Where should you pay the taxes from? How do you know for sure? Get our free personalized Roth Blueprint analysis today to find out exactly what makes sense for you. Your Roth Blueprint could potentially increase your lifetime wealth by thousands of dollars. So get your free Roth Blueprint today. Text Blueprint to 844-867-8335. That's Blueprint to 844-867-8335. Or go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Avelo Air knows how much you love the Tigers. They love them too. They want to help you get to spring training in Lakeland because it is an awesome time. They fly nonstop from Grand Rapids to Lakeland Thursdays and Sundays, and nonstop from Detroit to Lakeland Wednesdays and Saturdays. Everyday low fares and reliable service. You don't want to fly anywhere else. Book your trip to Lakeland on AveloAir.com and use the promo code HUGE for $20 off a round-trip base fare when you book by March 31st. Restrictions do apply.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. We'll be right back after this break, but while you're waiting, be sure to vote on our daily poll question presented by MitchLyonsWealth.com at XB Mornings on X.
Very cool moment last night with Patrick Kane being honored by folks by the Red Wings and by everybody in attendance at Little Caesars Arena before the game against Las Vegas last night. Welcome back, X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Patrick Kane is now viewed as the greatest American-born hockey player in history. He passed Mike Modano for total number of points by an American-born player. You can debate whether or not he's the greatest or not, but he's definitely in that conversation, not just because of the points, because of his accomplishments in general, okay? I never know what the most important thing a professional athlete has or should get when they break some type of all-time record, when they have some type of lifetime achievement. My guess is Patrick Kane has plenty of pictures of what he did. My guess is Patrick Kane has plenty of pucks for milestones. 100th goal, 200th goal, 1,000th point, whatever, right? So it's hard for me to judge and say, come on, you've got to give more. I mean, what do I expect? A car? It's not Armando Galarraga who gets a free Corvette. So I don't know what the answer to that is. It's just I've always found it interesting that they showered them with gifts, and the gift is what you just did. And I guarantee you, somebody has, if they haven't already, they are in the process of giving him something very similar because they took the picture. Like his family may have already done it, clipped something that was indicative of his accomplishment. Okay, whatever, fine. I thought it was going to be a little bit more. It's great that Mike Modano was there. It's great that Dylan Lark and Alex DeBrincat came out and they took pictures, and it's great that Patrick Kane's family was there and that his sisters who were given flowers. Okay, great. Appreciate that. Put them in a vase, they'll die in 3 days. They will, right? The mom gets a flower and a bouquet of flowers, and then the three sisters get a bouquet of flowers. And I'm not saying they deserve anything special, but I mean, that's it. You go to a florist and you get them flowers and thanks for being here, and you get to be on the ice while your brother gets a framed picture of what he just accomplished, a piece of the glass, and a hockey puck. I was thinking it was going to be a little bit more for that accomplishment. Am I wrong? I'm not trying to be, let's spend as much money as we possibly can on things. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just thinking that something like that was a little underwhelming. I thought it was going to be more than that. I thought it might be a gold-plated hockey stick. I thought it might be some type of USA jersey. I thought it might be some type of ranking with him and the other USA greats, and it wasn't just him. I thought there might be a little bit more than just what he got. I noticed that a lot, like during the Tigers, many times, here's what you did, and let's unveil it. And you unveil it, and it's just, it's a framed picture. Now, for you and me, that's probably cool because it costs a little bit of money. I got a jersey with my name on it, and it's framed. When my son graduated college, I bought his college jersey. I put some pictures of it. I've got it framed, and I've got his name that was on his locker plate for it. Okay. That's cool for him. He didn't set records. He did leave as one of the all-time leading goal scorers, but he didn't set records. And he's not doing it in front of a national television audience or in front of a packed stadium. So I was just a little underwhelmed with that. And then when you see what some other teams had done for their Olympians, Jack Hughes primarily. Now, he did score the game-winning goal, but Dylan Larkin was a really important piece to Team USA. You and I both admit that. Anyway, in New Jersey, they singled out Jack Hughes. And then remember, he called out Tage Thompson because they were playing Buffalo. Everybody was singled out and brought to the middle of the floor. And there was some type of presentation, scoring goals, Team USA, playing Freebird, all that stuff. Last night, in case you missed it, they recognized the various Olympians. Got to make sure we thank Lucas Raymond because of how good he was for Team Sweden, even though they didn't play for a medal. Make sure that Mo Sider gets his due, even though they didn't play for a medal. And then the recognition of, first of all, the women, which was great, especially the Farmington Hills native who scored the game-winning goal, Megan Keller. And then Dylan Larkin and Jack Eichel and, 3 U.S. players. They were all on the bench. They were on the bench. They didn't bring them out. They didn't give them an American flag. They didn't pay tribute to them with a massive, maybe they did, they just didn't show it on TV, scoreboard, highlight reel film, or anything like that. Am I wrong in thinking that you were going to get a little bit more than, and I don't expect every single player who has been honored by Team USA to be given the same treatment as Jack Hughes, I suppose. But sorry, when you have Noah Hannafin out there and you have Jack Eichel and you have Dylan Larkin and they're part of Team USA, I really thought that they were going to do a little bit more than just show them while they're on the bench and they're looking up at the scoreboard. It seemed like it was just underwhelming on what they did. You can comment on that if you so choose. If not, no big deal. Knicks lose last night at home to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in OKC. There's a bad look for the NBA right now. A really bad look. We know, and I think we told you this yesterday, that the 10 worst teams going into play last night, 10 worst teams, were on a 40-game losing streak combined. Let that settle in for just a moment. A 40-game losing streak. Some of the worst teams in basketball, that's what's happening. Jazz lost again last night. Memphis lost again last night. Pacers lost again last night. So it's even worse than what I originally said. I mean, you think about it. These teams that are vying for the number one pick in the NBA draft. Look at them. Milwaukee, 4-game slide. Washington, 6-game slide. Brooklyn, losers of 9 straight. Indiana has dropped 7 in a row. Memphis, back-to-back setbacks. Dallas, 4-game losing streak. New Orleans and Sacramento have lost back-to-back games. And Utah, with a loss last night, has dropped 8 of 10, but more importantly, 7 in a row. Now, all worse than what we told you yesterday. There's an additional bad look in the NBA. And it should have the league very concerned. You can call it tanking. That's fine. But one former coach has come out and talked about that openly about his former team. And it's the New York Knicks. We'll play that for you when we come back on X's and Bros and get your thoughts on it. Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. Text line is Sports Radio 21,000. We're brought to you this hour on a Tullymore Thursday by our friend Mitch Lyons Wealth.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Huge here for Josh Garvey and his team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan. Now, they continue to grow. They got their worldwide headquarters in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. They are worldwide. They are the leaders. when it comes to accounting, CPA, and business needs. Simple and easy. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. And also Josh Garvey joins me every Tuesday as we talk hoops with former Michigan and Cleveland Cavaliers head coach John Beilein. Tuesdays, 5 p.m., Josh Garvey, Coach Beilein, and myself, we talk Michigan, Michigan State, and the Pistons. Talking hoops happens all the way through the NBA Finals. And could you imagine if the Pistons are in the NBA Finals? If you ever have a hoops question for us, you can drop it at Huge Show on Twitter, The Huge Show on Facebook, and Talking Hoops every Tuesday at 5 p.m. presented by one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms, Dorn Mayhew.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Avelo Airlines knows you love the Tigers because they love them too. It's why they have direct flights to Lakeland, Florida out of both Grand Rapids and Detroit. Thursdays and Sundays are nonstop out of GR, and Wednesdays and Saturdays are nonstop out of Detroit. So wherever you are in Michigan, you can get down to spring training to watch your Tigers. With everyday low fares, reliable service, you do not want to fly any other way. Head to AveloAir.com to book your trip now. That's AVELO air.com and use code HUGE for $20 off a round-trip base fare if you book before March 31st. Restrictions do apply.
Pistons in San Antonio tonight. Welcome back, X's and Bros. Monday through Friday, San Antonio, the number 2 seed right now in the West at 44-17. Detroit is 45-15 on the year, 21-8 away from home. I don't want to be the nervous Nelly of the group because I think Detroit's a really good basketball team. But as I said yesterday, it's going to be really hard for them to advance deep into a playoff if Cade Cunningham isn't a consistent scorer. How you get those points, as I've said before, I don't care. I don't know if people saw this, but Charlotte is now a game above the break even. They steamrolled Boston. They didn't beat them. They opened up a can of 29 on them in Boston. All right. Just something to keep an eye on. I'm not telling you they're the best team in the East. All I'm telling you is that they are starting to catch fire. Okay. They made 19 threes. They shot 50% from the floor. Their starting lineup of LaMelo Ball and Con Knippel and Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges and Moussa Diabate on a 6-game roll, and they are 20-2. Does that surprise you? Yeah. 16-3 in their last 19 games. And I know you're probably going, wait, 20-2. No, they didn't have that starting lineup all the time. That starting lineup, 20-2. It's a team that could.
They found something that works, is the point.
Well, could it scare you a little bit? Not scare you. Could it concern you in a series? They are the 9 seed, I believe.
Yeah. So obviously, as we know, 7 through 8 are all in play to play the Pistons. In theory, if the Pistons were to get the 1 seed, we're projecting, of course, because the play-in tournament. So of the teams in the play-in, which right now, Shep, I don't have it in front of me. Looking that up right now, who the 7 through 10 are. It's the Magic, the Heat, the Hornets, and the Hawks. I think I'd be most scared to play the Magic
Hornets.
And then the Hornets. Yeah. I mean, just because they're hot right now.
Well, yes. That's the primary reason. Don't we always, if we're going to use a reason a team is a scary team to play in other sports like college basketball, March is Tom Izzo's month. State is peaking at the right time. They're playing good, solid basketball. You wouldn't want to play them. That's what we say about teams that are playing good ball, right?
All the time.
Sure, teams that are playing really steady, like Michigan has and Duke has and Arizona has, absolutely. We'll nitpick things like that. We'll nitpick a loss or a barely win. Oh, my gosh, how did you win at Penn State? You shouldn't have won. You shouldn't have won at Northwestern. But they did, right? And we'll forget about certain teams that got blown out and suddenly gravitate toward their winning streak at the end of a regular season. They've got momentum. Now is the time for them to keep it going. Well, I know there's still plenty of games to play if you're the Pistons and teams in the NBA. But right now, Charlotte is gaining a lot of traction. They're gaining a lot of confidence. And they're a team that you might want to avoid. Not that Detroit can do anything about that. It sure seems like Charlotte will be eventually catch a team like Miami, catch a team like Orlando, probably get up there if they're continuing to play really well. Might be on that 7 line instead of a 9 or a 10 line, but they have found a way to get some things done. That's been a good thing. Maybe if you want to see what's good for the NBA, that's a good thing for the NBA. What's not a good thing is what I had mentioned just prior to the break and the number of teams that seem to be redefining tanking together. The constant losing. And if you don't think it's a real thing, there's nothing worse than the people who are on your original ship starting to jump off and telling you what a terrible pilot you are, terrible captain you are. That's exactly what is happening with some players past and some coaches past in the NBA. David Fizdale used to be the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies and then the New York Knicks. How? I have no idea. He was an assistant coach in a lot of different stops, including Atlanta and Miami. So he was on Eric Spoelstra's staff. So that really helped him. He got his first gig with Memphis and took advantage of it. They were 43-39 his first year, made the playoffs. All right. Lost in the first round. The next year, after a 19-game start that had his team go 7-12, he was fired. Enter the New York Knicks the following season. They saw so much in his 2 seasons in Memphis that felt, yes, let's take a chance. Even though he was a game under 500 overall, let's take a chance. His first year, they went 17-65. And then after a 22-game stint that started 4-18, fired. Last year, an assistant in Phoenix. Don't think he's working now. But here's what David Fizdale had to say about the first year in New York in 2019 when they ended up 24 games out of first place, 17 wins, 65 losses with a roster that wasn't very good. Go ahead.
If I was doing it over again, I would have fought more to build a team early on and not cash in my record. That's the hard part for coaches when you agree to the I'm just gonna say it, tanking. If you're not all on board with what we're doing to get this thing, because when you tank, you're supposed to tank to build something bigger, right? It's not supposed to be a tank to whatever happens. Just like that's not the formula.
So that's what they were trying to do is build for Zion Williamson or Jean Morant. It was an open discussion. You and I are not so naive to think it doesn't happen. But for guys to come out and admit it, that the team huddles together, ownership, front office personnel, coaching staff, this is where we're at. This is where we want to be. Let's lose. And still charge people full price for everything at Madison Square Garden. Tickets, parking, food, drink, you name it. Why is there not more outrage about this? I mean, it's literally come on my show, talk about the dishonesty that you have in your profession and your sport, and we'll celebrate it. We're going to laugh about it. We're going to put it on social media. You can own it and wear it like an Armani suit. You love it. It's unreal. If it's not for certain social media, would we even know? As I said, bottom 10 teams in the NBA on a collective 46 game losing streak. We're okay with that. That gets our eyeballs. That gets our money. That gets our time. That's crazy. I don't get that. It's confusing as all get out to me that they are literally willing to say it out loud. They do it. Coaches leave and coaches say, yeah, this was our mindset. Let's lose so we can try and get a better player. When he got to New York, the talent wasn't good. He knew that, right? So they're going to try to do everything they can. Maybe they get a little wink from the league. If we know that it's team conspiracies, you've been around people who have the conspiracy theories, right? All the time. I really think they knew about Tom Brady's Deflategate for a long period of time, and they just let it go.
Patrick Ewing to the Knicks. That's a big one.
I bet you Bill Belichick was taping everybody's practices. The conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, the Patrick Ewing, the Tim Duncan, the Victor Wembanyama, the Cooper Flag.
Yeah,
okay?
the Luka Doncic trade, right.
The NBA probably has more than any other, right? I want you to think about this for
off the top of my head for sure.
I'll go back and look. What was the trade for Mikal Bridges? How many first-round picks was gathered there?
I will look that up right now.
Okay. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. It's 4 or 5. I want you to think about this for a minute, okay? And he's a good player, won a national championship at Villanova, very good defensive player. I like him. I don't think he's a star by any stretch, but Mikal Bridges is a really good player. He's a guy who is an all-defensive team member. But overall, I wouldn't call him a superstar by any stretch.
Shep, it was 4 first-round picks and a protected pick swap in 2028, so it could end up being 5.
Okay. So let's just, do you mind if I say 5 for the sake of argument?
Not at all. Go for it.
Okay. So a guy who averages 15 points per game in his career garnered 5 first-round picks in a trade. Luka Doncic went for a broken-down center, a role player, and a first-round pick. Right?
Do you think that says more about the Knicks and how they run their franchise? Because, that is a lot. That's a ton to give up for Mikal Bridges.
You're right. There's stupidity there.
Foolishly,
There's irresponsibility on the part of the Knicks, for sure. There might be a part of them that says, you know what? We're going to be so good, we're going to be picking late anyway. Who cares?
But I also get your point just as far as like maybe how unseriously NBA franchises take their draft picks or the draft lottery in general.
Well, I was referring more to the conspiracy theory side of things. Okay.
Loading the Knicks up, you're saying?
Well, I mean, no, I'm talking about the Luka Doncic. Mikal Bridges goes for 5 first-round picks, and Luka Doncic goes for a guy who hasn't played a full season in how many years?
I see what you're saying.
A role player and a first-round pick, and you're talking about Luka Doncic, who is arguably the best scorer of his generation, not best player, best scorer of his generation.
It's a big fishy difference there. You're right.
Are you kidding me? We're not paying close enough attention to this because we were so blown away that he was traded in the first place. This is a guy who averages 29 points per game in his career. He's a 5-time all NBA player, rookie of the year, right? 5-time NBA, 6-time all-star, all these things. I know it hasn't been a huge resume, 8 years, but still, when you lead the league in field goal attempts 3 straight years, you lead the league in field goals made per season, per game, you lead the league twice in scoring, so you got 2 scoring titles, and you go for that compared to what Mikal Bridges did? That seems odd to me. Maybe it's just irresponsibility on the part of the Dallas Mavericks, for sure. New York's thinking, we're not going to need those picks late in a draft anyway. Not many people can name those late draft picks anyway. I want you, if I asked you, give me a guy drafted in the final 5 of last year's draft. Any name.
No clue.
Could you name one?
Nope.
Right. If you said Danny Wolf, that would have been fine. All right.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it 47?
No, 27.
20 first round. That's right.
Yeah,
Duh.
he was
what
first
am I
round.
thinking?
Yeah. And Jace Richardson, two picks just before him. But outside of, Danny Wolf had a really good game last week and a double-double. Jace Richardson participated in the dunk contest. Outside of that, neither one has been impactful for their team. I think we can all admit to that.
After you get past 15, historically, it kind of
it's pretty hard,
off.
don't you think?
There's always going to be exceptions, but yeah.
Yeah, you'll have exceptions. But
it's hard to name someone after 15, Shep, let alone 25, to your point.
I think it would be hard to name somebody almost after 10. I do.
Yeah, the only reason I say 15 is because that's lottery-ish, and you kind of know who the lottery-ish teams are. But then, really after the top 10. And in certain drafts, like a couple years ago when the Hawks got Risa Shea, I remember watching that draft thinking, I'm not going to know who any of these guys are in 2 years. And here we are 2 years later, and I couldn't tell you where half of them are. And I watched the league a lot.
You're a basketball fan. I bet you if I asked you right now, name 6 players in the top 10 from the NBA draft last year, you couldn't do it.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg, Conkanipple. I'd have to start really thinking.
You'd have a really hard time. Dylan Harper, who's starting for San Antonio, was second.
That's a good one.
And he's really good.
He's been
right?
He's been a nice player, yeah.
Yeah. If I said to you, Colin Murray Boyles, where did he go?
Don't know.
Did you know? 9th. He went 9th overall. I couldn't do it either. You used to be able to rattle it off no problem in the past.
In certain years, you still can, but it's been a long time. It's been a long, like for me, it'd probably be since 2019 that I could do that. So, I mean, it's been almost a decade.
Yeah, it's really hard. I bet you there would be, you brought up Ricochet. Give me 3 guys in the top 10 in that draft.
Can't. I remember it was historically awful. That's right. I mean, Ron Holland went 5th, right?
Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah, people were screaming for Donovan Clingan. Remember?
Yes. Big
so
UConn
he went
guy.
in that draft. Yeah. Reed Shepard went in that draft. Really good shooter. Zach Edey was stunned me that he was a top 10
he
pick.
went very high. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he went 9th. So the point is, the Knicks didn't feel like it was important. And if you're looking at any type of possible conspiracy, that would be it. So people buy into that. This isn't a conspiracy. This is an admittance of people who coached in the league. Players know it. They've admitted it, who've played in the league.
Right, and because they don't admit to it until after it's done.
And all we have is a commissioner saying, yeah, something's got to be done about it. How is this acceptable? Do we think every team, every sport does it? Be honest. Do you think every sport does it? I think it's really hard to do it in baseball. I think it's really hard to do it in hockey.
I think they do it in football. But I don't think they do it all season long. I think it gets down to maybe the last month, and then they kind of feel out where they're at. And then I think they make either decisions on shutting guys down or...
So besides the Max Crosby situation from a year ago, in which he was injured, but he wanted to play and they wouldn't let him, and they hid behind that.
Yeah.
Can you think of another time where it was so blatant?
No, it's never super blatant. So there you go. I mean, I will admit, and I think you'd agree, it's the easiest to do it in the NBA because it's kind of allowed, right?
Well, also because you only have 14 players. You got to put 5 guys out there at the same time. And when you've got half your bench dressed in street clothes and cheering on guys who were just called up from the G League, I think there's a lot of people who start to question that.
Mind you, they also play 3 or 4 times a week, not once, like in football. I think that's what makes it a little tougher in football.
So we're noticing it more. That's right. We're noticing it more. It's just a frustrating thing for me to see and hear when David Fizdale comes out. I don't know if I should crown him and say thank you, or if I should be pissed off at him and say, what the hell's wrong with you? How can you guys accept people's money, demand their time, and tell us that the league is on the up and up when something like that is done? First hour is done here on X's and Bros. We're back with more after this on a Tullymore Thursday, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
You've worked hard for decades saving in pre-tax retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs, saving on taxes now. But as your retirement now approaches, you're going to get taxed at rates you have no control over. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Your 401k balance isn't worth what your statement says. You could lose thousands of dollars to taxes, and those distributions can impact other areas of your retirement like Social Security and Medicare. Could a Roth IRA conversion be of help to you? You've probably heard of Roth conversions, but it can be confusing. Should you convert all at once or over time? Where should you pay the taxes from? How do you know for sure? Get our free personalized Roth Blueprint analysis today to find out exactly what makes sense for you. Your Roth Blueprint could potentially increase your lifetime wealth by thousands of dollars. So get your free Roth Blueprint today. Text Blueprint to 844-867-8335. That's Blueprint to 844-867-8335. Or go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Huge here for the annual Grand Rapids Griffins Purple Community Game, which is coming up on Friday, March 13th at Van Andel Arena in downtown GR. It's a night dedicated to supporting research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's at Van Andel Institute. The Griffins will be taking on the Milwaukee Admirals in special purple jerseys, and you'll have a chance to bid on a limited edition purple jersey of your own after the game. It's a night you won't want to miss. Learn more about the Grand Rapids Griffins Purple Community Game at vai.org/events and also at griffinshockey.com.
Hey, when you travel, you want low fares, you want reliable service, and you want a direct flight. Avelo Air gives you all of that and more. Avelo Air has direct flights to take Tigers fans to spring training in Lakeland. Avelo Air will take you from Grand Rapids to Lakeland directly on Thursdays and Sundays. They will take you directly from Detroit to Lakeland on Wednesdays and Saturdays. You literally land 20 minutes from the ballpark. You don't have to wait in lines. You don't have to worry about any of that other hassle. This is hassle-free travel like you deserve. Go to AveloAir.com and get $20 off a base fare round-trip flight to Lakeland when you book your trip by March 31st. All you have to do is use the code HUGE. That's HUGE on AveloAir.com. Restrictions do apply. See AveloAir.com for details today.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
From Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Muskegon, Petoskey, Charlevoix, Traverse City, Cadillac, Lansing, and beyond, you are listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard only on the Michigan Sports Network.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
The other thing, welcome back. The other thing about the NBA, I don't know if you watched any of the Knicks and OKC. I was flipping back and forth. When the Red Wings had to end a period, I turned on the Knicks and OKC. And there was something that happened with the game 63-53. OKC was up. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is bringing the ball down the floor. Picture him moving left to right. Crosses the midcourt stripe. Gets a screen, I think, from Hartenstein. And then goes near the left elbow, just inside the left elbow. I'd say about 14 feet away. And he kicks out his right leg. There's no contact whatsoever. He is constantly baiting referees with his body movement and body language. And like somebody was given a foul for flopping 2 nights ago. I forget who it was, so my apologies, but there's a lot of names running through my head. They were given a fine for flopping. If you're not flopping, but you're exaggerating the play itself to garner some type of call, is it not relatively the same? Are you not trying to fool people? Are you not doing things that are unethical on the field of play? I don't get this, right? And I think it's also a really bad look.
It's a stain. I know exactly what play you're talking about, and by letter of the law, that could have been called an offensive foul if the refs wanted to. They've called a lot more for a lot less, in my opinion. He does. He kicks his leg right out.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. I think he's doing that on a pretty regular basis. And
I'm sure you could find a mix down of all his, foul baiting. And a lot of it probably has to do with kicking out the leg when he's up, going up for that mid-range jumper.
That's the right way to phrase it, by the way, foul baiting. Isn't that what flopping is?
Yeah, it's the same exact thing.
Okay.
It's a more stately term.
Why is it never called on the offensive player?
Great question. That's what I'm saying. They easily could have called it if they wanted to, or maybe they're just not paying as close attention. But that's no excuse.
Because he's the reigning MVP.
That's part of it too.
Could be.
He's a 30-point per game scorer. He gets to the line quite a bit.
Lose respect. It is. If it's brought to the public's attention. Because what we do, and you're not alone in this, you're watching the player, you're watching the shot, then you're watching the ball. Are you watching his body? Are you watching the movement and things of that nature? I don't know if people are. Welcome back. Pistons are in San Antonio tonight. Red Wings lose last night in overtime 4-3 to Vegas. You've got Michigan State with their final home game of the year against Rutgers. Should be a win. Should pick up yet another victory and be a rock-solid 3 in the NCAA tournament. And Michigan is at Iowa for their final road game of the year, trying to do something no team since the 1975-76 Indiana Hoosiers, who were perfect, has done, and that is win every road game on their Big Ten schedule. This will be road game number 10 for U of M. Here's our Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question of the day. We have a poll question for you every day. Do you expect the Red Wings to make a trade? It's simple. Yes or no. Vote as often as you want. We'll give you the results tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour. Let me get to some texts, and I also want to get to make sure we get the involvement on the chat area on the YouTube channel as well, and we always appreciate that. This is from Noah via the chat. My take, the NBA is losing fans. Soccer is gaining more than the NBA right now. Kids are no longer wanting NBA collecting cards for Christmas. I truly believe the numbers for the NBA Finals this year will be lower than the 5 years previous. We'll have to monitor that. Thanks, Noah. I appreciate that.
A lot of that depends on who's in it, right? Who's in the finals.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I hate it when people say the NBA wants the Lakers and the Celtics. But, and I used to put that off, But if you're a conspiracy theory guy, and we've talked about some of those conspiracy theories that the NBA has had to deal with, whether it's true or not, there's a strong belief from people in the media who cover the league and fans that things have been set up in the past. And if that's the case, you wonder just a little bit about it. And you can't help but wonder that the league will want some type of marquee team. Is OKC a marquee team? Is San Antonio a marquee team? They have marquee players, but are they a marquee team? The teams like Boston and LA have been marquee teams, now enriched with franchise banners. On the other hand, San Antonio is not a big market. OKC is not a big market. Why would they want those teams? Because of who they possess. Because of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because of Victor Wembanyama. I guess San Antonio would have a pretty rich history too. But that's why I blow off the whole media market stuff.
It is a lot more about
media
the players,
market. They want
sure.
the large market. They don't want the small market. If they want a large market, go get Atlanta. Atlanta's a huge market.
Well, Shep, to that point, last season, per finals game, they averaged 5.1 million, or a 5.1 rating, whatever that is, 10.2 million viewers, okay, per finals game last year, 7-game series. That was
Okay.
OKC and Indiana, two small markets, right?
Right.
The year before that, it was Boston versus Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Two
was
large markets.
Two
Huge
large markets, and it was 11.11. So it was only a point, what is that, 1.4 million increase, which I understand might sound like a lot, but it's really not if you look at the averages.
You would have expected more. Than
much more, because the year before that, it was 6.1. The year before that, 6.6. So we've seen very high numbers. Last year was a little bit down, but it wasn't as much down as you would have thought between Boston and Dallas, because those are two huge markets. And OKC and Indiana are not. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. And I think it's a fair point. I think it's dead on.
You got to look at the chart to actually see the trend, but last year was not as much down as you'd think with two quote-unquote small markets.
Definitely agreed. The only thing about what Noah said about soccer, and maybe he's a young father or somebody who just is around younger people and understands it more. I've been hearing about the rise of soccer since I was in high school. Okay. This is what I've been told. Seriously, that it's going to take over our country. It's going to be the number one sport. It's like global warming. We've been hearing about soccer as much as global warming since way back in the 80s. And I'm not seeing it. Now, I'm not saying kids aren't excited about it. I know kids still play soccer. I know that. And I know that Detroit Football Club, DFC, has a new stadium coming. Good for them. I think it's awesome, right? When's it gonna take over? Besides selective markets, Seattle, Los Angeles, Miami, maybe somebody out east, when is soccer going to truly take root? And Noah's response is, and mind you, I hate soccer. Okay, that's funny. I didn't know that. That's a good thing to note. And it's not that I hate it. I can't watch it. I mean, there's no way. I don't care if it's World Cup or not. I cannot watch it.
Well, maybe in Noah's case, it comes from frustration because he loves the NBA and he's like, this is BS.
Yeah, that could be.
Why are you letting soccer overtake you?
Right. Noah's got some words for Adam Silver. I understand. I'm not seeing that, man. I don't think anything's surpassing football. Although I will say this, you get 27-year-olds retiring. The league needs to start taking a stronger look at some things. And you see how many teams are releasing players. Darnell Mooney's going to get released by Atlanta. I mean, teams are just getting rid of really good players because of contractual situations. It's incredible. I don't think it's ever taken over the NFL. I don't think it's taken over the Major League Baseball. I don't think it's taken over the NBA. And, maybe hockey. I don't know, because hockey doesn't do what it should do. Who knows? Good feedback. Appreciate that, Noah, very much. We'll get to some text and a whole lot more. Stay with us. We're brought to you in this hour by Meijer.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Grocery shopping is a good deal better at Meijer with low prices on fresh favorites like select bulk apples, just $1.29 a pound. Certified Angus beef chuck roast and fresh from Meijer whole chickens are buy one, get one 50% off. Plus, earn a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more in-store March 4th through the 10th. Coupon printed at checkout. Then redeem your $10 coupon March 11th through the 17th. Bringing home more of what you love for less. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
The Michigan Sports Network is your exclusive home for X's and Bros with Matt Shepard and The Huge Show later today at 3 p.m.
Welcome back, X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Always welcome your phone calls on the Wire Hotline, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. I hate it when talk show hosts fly by their number because they know it so well, but fans who might be listening don't. So slow down. The text line, Sports Radio, 21,000. You can also get involved in the chat on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Facebook, and we always appreciate that. Noah has done that this morning, and we appreciate the opportunity to chat with him here on I Tell Me More Thursday. Real quick, before we dive into some texts, I don't know if you saw this, but Arkansas and Tyson Foods have a new partnership. Here's what it is. Tyson Foods gets their logo on all 19 Arkansas team jerseys.
Oh, boy.
90% of that money goes to NIL.
And there's the can of worms. How many schools are going to follow suit? All of them.
A lot.
I think every single one will.
Yep.
Maybe some of the Ivy League schools won't. How's that?
Well, does the Ivy League doesn't give scholarships anyway?
That's true. That's what I mean. So they have no incentive to do it other than if they were going to raise money for their athletic program or something. I don't know.
Right.
But
this is what's going to happen. Here's what else will happen. If you can't do it on a uniform, so this may be placed right above where Arkansas has the SEC. Okay. I don't know, whatever side. If you can't do it there, and maybe it comes on the helmet, or in football or baseball or whatever, they may do it for practice jerseys. It'll be less money, but they may do it for practice jerseys because there are still people getting camera shots of players and doing interviews with players and coaches. Trent, of course you saw this coming. This is not new. Look at coaches at a podium. What is on the podium when they're talking to the media?
Gatorade or some type of sports
beverage,
drink. Yeah.
Right? It's not, we see it in baseball, Major League Baseball. We see it in hockey. You don't say anything about it. Nobody does.
You get used to it. You think nothing of it. Well, you're up in arms about it at first.
The official blowback is strong. And then it's just, well, I guess this is the way it is.
Yeah.
And you don't do a damn thing about it.
Like NBA jerseys don't look any different to me than they did 10 years ago now, or 12 years ago, whenever they started it, because I'm just used to it now.
Yeah. They look different to me. And then it'll be, how much is enough? You've seen European hockey, right?
Oh, yeah. And soccer, too, overseas. It's giant across the stomach.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't seen that. But, yeah, that's what it is. It's constant. And basketball's no different. Basketball overseas is the same way. You're selling so much for a spot on the jersey. And then it becomes cluttered. And then it becomes ugly. And then people stop buying it. That's what I always wonder. I go to a pro shop. Okay. We're at Michigan State University and we're looking at a pro shop. And suddenly they have a deal with fill in the blank. I don't care. Lansing Brewing Company. Boom. On the shoulder. Is that what you get when you're in the pro shop?
So far, I can tell you no. It's not. But I get what you're saying. Is that the point we're going to get to?
Yeah.
Which,
so far you would have said no to this too, and yet it's happening.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, let me get to a couple of texts. That's a very interesting development taking place. We had somebody who called. They couldn't hold through the break, but they did have a question. Fire away.
Yeah, Dave in Grand Rapids. He was simply just wondering, Shep, if Adam Silver were concerned about the NBA Finals being a matchup between two smaller markets, why do they have so many teams? Why couldn't you take some of the teams out of the smaller markets to ensure that at least a medium-sized to big markets in the finals? What do you think?
Money. You get more money when you open up a new market. You get more money. Other owners get money when there's a new team too. If that were the case, that's a good question, Dave. If that were the case, who would you get rid of? They want to add. They don't want to cut back. They want more athletes, not less. They want more money from TV markets and from TV expansion or for team expansion. So why would no owner would want that? You notice that it's never gone down in teams. It's always gone up in teams. Even if you get rid of a team, Seattle, what do? You move them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't take them out of the fraternity. You just move them around and give them a different responsibility on that leadership in the fraternity. If I was using that as some type of comparison, which teams would you get rid of? I think there's too many teams in every sport, quite honestly. I don't think there's enough good players. I really don't. But I ask you, who would you get rid of? If you said, well, Indiana, because they have the worst team in the league and they are in a relatively smaller market, Indianapolis, I would argue they went to the finals a year ago. They've had some of the best players the league has ever had, Reggie Miller specifically. And you've got a team that is in a basketball craze state. At least that's what we've been told.
That's the argument for
decades.
Indiana for sure.
Okay.
I would look at Memphis. I would look at New Orleans for sure, because the ownership there isn't great either. They should not have a franchise.
Well, the ownership is one thing. There's not great owners in a lot of sports.
But the draw
I
there,
don't think there's
everything about New
Orleans. If you
Orleans.
look at football, do you think Cincinnati has good ownership? Do you think the Jets have good ownership?
No.
You've got to be very careful there. That has to be vetted before they're granted the team.
Okay, so that's a separate thing.
Some people in
That's
Detroit,
fair.
how many people in Detroit, how many people in the state of Michigan have said, I want the Fords to sell the Lions. I want Chris Ilitch to sell the Tigers and Red Wings. You walk a very, very dangerous line there when you say they don't have great ownership. That is throughout sports.
So I shouldn't have said that
just
first, because
Memphis.
that's not my primary reason, but I just think that's part of it. When you have a bad draw, there's not much of a basketball crowd there to begin with. You have no history in New Orleans, none. Your best player in franchise history is Anthony Davis. And then you have bad ownership on top of that. That's just why that's what I was getting at there.
Yeah.
But I would look at Memphis, New Orleans. It's hard to say OKC right now because how good they are, but
I would also say the best player in New Orleans history might be Pete Maravich.
oh yes, but I think he's technically, his records are with the Jazz. I think they carried him over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. New Orleans Jazz. I mean, it's the city. We're talking about the city.
The market.
Because
Yeah.
that's what Dave said. Dave is wondering, why do you just get rid of some teams? I think in a perfect world, the league is smaller, not bigger, because of some of this stuff that we've talked about already. But that's never going to happen. All right. In a world where some businesses are peeling back on personnel because of AI and other reasons, the NBA or professional sports teams in general, not just the NBA, would never do that. They want to expand because it means more money. It means more television dollars. It means more marketing dollars. It means more everything. So there's no doubt what's going to happen with the league. They're going to be adding teams. Adam Silver is talking about adding teams. Now, to Dave's point, if they don't want small markets, what I'm saying is, Dave, it's a conspiracy that they don't want small market teams. That's what I've said. All right. But Milwaukee won. That's not a big market.
Right.
Milwaukee won a championship a few years back. It's not all about, I've never believed it's all about the size of the market. You got to have a really big market. No. Sacramento's not a big market. It's the capital of California, but it's not a big market. All right. And if you felt that way, you probably wouldn't have Toronto, even though it's the largest market in Canada. In the United States, it just doesn't register in that regard. I'm saying it's a little bit of a fallacy when people talk about the league doesn't want small market teams. My whole point to anybody who has said that in the past is if all they want is big market teams, then they should probably be looking at teams that are also in Atlanta. And Atlanta is not viewed as a large market team, but it's a very large market. I've never understood where people go with market. Are they talking about media size? Are they talking about the entire size of the population or what? All right, quick timeout. On the other side, we'll talk a little baseball with you here on X's and Bros on a Tullymore Thursday brought to you by Meyer.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Grocery shopping is a good deal better at Meijer with low prices on fresh favorites like select bulk apples, just $1.29 a pound. Certified Angus beef chuck roast and fresh from Meijer whole chickens are buy one, get one 50% off. Plus, earn a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more in-store March 4th through the 10th. Coupon printed at checkout. Then redeem your $10 coupon March 11th through the 17th. Bringing home more of what you love for less. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Okay, thanks for being with us here on a Tullymore Thursday. What's going on? Matt Shepard with you. Trent Valley, our producer today. Some concern for some Tigers. It depends on how you take spring training. If you're going to pump up Kevin McGonigal for what he's done so far, and rightfully so, he's been really impressive. Love the way this kid has an approach. I said yesterday, I'm not going to go so far as to say he's my starting shortstop for the season. Okay. That's unfair. It's just, it's not right yet. But if he keeps it up like this, it's hard to say no. You cannot look at your team and say the best hitter in the spring, it's batting 400, has been not good enough in a position of need. If you're going to do that and you're going to overreact to that, then I suppose you're going to overreact to some of two other specific players. And if you don't mind, Parker Meadows, who's 1 for 17 with 5 punch outs and is batting .059. Tough to use your speed when you're not on base. So that's one. The other is Max Clark. And I think there's a lot of people who are almost laughing about this because of the chains that he wears and the mistakes he's made in the outfield. He's 2 for 15, batting .133 with 5 strikeouts as well. And I've seen people almost, it's an amazing mindset. It really is. Almost root against him because of the appearance. I don't get that, quite honestly. By all accounts, he's a really good kid. He's a competitive kid. He's an athletic kid. And I know some people don't like that word. He's 21 years old. Baseball purposes, he's a kid. Okay, let's just call him a young man. All right? I mean, we've all got growing up to do. We've got adults out there who are in their 50s and 60s who have growing up to do. But let's just say he's a young man. Fair enough. You're judging and chastising and rooting against a guy because he's wearing more chains than you or more chains than you would want him to. I used the example yesterday. I like Justin Jefferson. I think he's really good. He wears a pretty heavy chain and he wears that grill. That's cool, right? But God forbid Max Clark do anything like that. Ronald Acuna, heavy ice around his neck. You like that? Yeah. See, I'm not too old not to catch on that stuff. So, I mean, it's just, come on, man. I mean, you don't like him because he isn't performing. That's one thing. But you've already prejudged him, and it's really too bad. In a world where there are so many people saying, you shouldn't judge them because of this, that, or the other thing. You do the exact same damn thing because a guy is wearing too many chains. I don't like him either. But at least I'm rooting for the guy because A, he's a Tiger first-round pick. B, I think he's got a lot of talent. He would have had to have a Kevin McGonigal start to make this team. You notice, though, I have brought up 2 center fielders. Someone's got to man the position, and it might be Javier Baez. It might be Javier Baez.
He's good enough at it.
He's
good enough at it.
He's an all-star. He's an all-star for center field. You got to play him somewhere. He's going to make the team. You don't want him batting every single game, do you?
No.
I don't think you do. Okay. And he's having a decent spring. Now, it didn't help that he got. It didn't help.
I know where you're going.
He got kicked off Team Puerto Rico, but okay. That might be your situation. If this continues and these guys collectively struggle and you don't want to move Riley Green back to center, you want to keep him in left, that's fine. He's a Gold Glove, Silver Slugger caliber left fielder. I know there's a lot of people who don't want to hear that and think it's wrong, but you're wrong. You're the person who's got the problem, not Riley Green and not everybody else in baseball who've widely recognized him. Scouts, managers, other players, members of the media, all recognize him. Get over it. He's one of the best left fielders in the game. Sheppy strikes out 200 times. He's one of the best left fielders in the game. Period. Baez might be your center fielder, which may pave the way even more so for McGonigal at short. To the phone lines we go. The Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. Good morning.
It's Mark in Gun Lake firing up the bus. Wants to talk Tigers with you.
Morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning. I got a quick question for you. These guys, and then I got a second question regarding these slumps or whatever you call them. What are these guys doing during the winter? I mean, are they trying to get their bats going earlier, or what are they doing during the? You've seen my guitar. I'm a guitarist. If I didn't play guitar for 2 or 3 months, I'd be rustier than rusty. I mean, I wouldn't be able to play until I, played for a week or so. And my second question is, what's hardest sport to get out of a slump in? Would it be golf? Would it be the shooting, three-point shooting of the Pistons, or would it be the batting slumps? I always wondered that when it came to how these athletes try to refocus and get out of a slump. So out of those, I don't think there's slumps in hockey and football and stuff like that. But what do you think would be the hardest sport to get out of a slump in? And then I'll listen to your comments. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Mark, very much. Drive safe. I wouldn't know what it's like to get out of a golf slump, so I can't say that. I think there are slumps in hockey. Ask Mason Appleton. Okay, so there definitely are scoring slumps in hockey. It's really hard. I can't say what is the most difficult. I think every baseball player goes through some type of slump. Some are more exaggerated than others. So I can't say. There's a lot of guys. Are you viewed as a scorer in hockey, or are you viewed as a guy who's just only going to chip in 11 goals during an 82-game season, and you're hoping to get 1 goal every 8 games? I think that depends, right? But there's a lot of guys who go through scoring slumps in hockey. So I think, baseball, it's going to happen, and I think it's more regular in baseball. How's that? To your first point, what are they doing? When the season ends, and I think I counted this up the other day, the Tigers will have 26 days off in their 162-game regular season slate, scheduled days off. That includes the All-Star break. In other words, you're playing over and over and over again. So you know damn well you're going to have slumps. When the season ends, they probably take 10 days to 2 weeks. Go enjoy themselves. Decompress. Let your body rest. Maybe more importantly, let your mind rest. And then it's right back at it. Maybe a month. I would guess most of them are at some point in December. So you're going to take, maybe November off. But you're always working out. They're always working out. But most of these guys, they all work out together. They all hit together. It's hitting every day. Okay. So you may take 2 weeks off from playing the guitar. These guys do not take 2 weeks off before they hit spring training. The key is to hit spring training, no pun intended, hit the ground running, pick up where you've been. So you're in some type of form. All right. When they see the first pitch in spring training, or they first do their first exercises or take their first ground balls, it sure isn't the first time since the last time at a major league camp. It's not the first time since they were playing in late September and early October. These guys, many of them have hitting cages at their homes. Many of them have pitching mounds at their homes. That's why they live in warm weather places, so they can hit and field and all that other stuff year round. So they're absolutely doing this on a regular basis. So please don't ever think that, okay, Parker Meadows is in a slump because all off season he's been playing euchre, drinking beer, and figuring out what the wordle is for the day. That's not how it works. That's a Trent Valley day. That is not a Parker Meadows day. He's in a slump because obviously he's not hitting well, but I don't know what is expected of Parker Meadows. What are you and I expecting of him? I expect a hell of a lot more than this. I can tell you that. And as good as I think he is defensively, and he's really good defensively, he cannot make this team or be a vital member of this team if he's only going to bat 225.
And I love what you said about his speed, because people always bring that up with him. It's like, it's hard to be fast if you're not on base. It's hard to utilize that speed if you're not on base, man.
Yeah, even if, look, you're on base, his on base percentage last year was 29%. For his career, his on base percentage is just under 31%. It's not good enough. Maybe he's just not an everyday player. Okay. Last year he played, because of injury, 58 games. He's never played more than 82 games in a season. So he's probably not an everyday guy. But the guys like that, you're not keeping a roster spot just to be a pinch runner and be a defensive replacement in the 8th inning. Can't do that.
So let me ask you this. We talked this week about Taylor Decker and how you might have to plan for him missing 4 games. If you, not per injury per se for Parker Meadows, but if you had to plan on him only playing about 80, like half the season, would you be okay with having Javier Baez man the other half? Or no? How does that make you feel right now on March 5th?
So I don't like it, and here's why I don't like it, but I've got to try my best to try and open my mind to different things. I want everyday players, and I don't think the Tigers have enough of them. They don't have an everyday player in center. They don't have an everyday player in right. They don't have an everyday player at third. They don't have an everyday player at short right now. It might change. If there's a definition of a fan / member of the media who wants to see the Tigers keep Kevin McGonigal and have him, is me, because I think he can be an everyday guy. Now, I didn't think he was a shortstop. I thought he was a second baseman. Okay. And I haven't seen enough of him to say he is an everyday shortstop. It's blatantly obvious the kid can hit. What we don't know yet is how good he can be defensively. That's all. But I want everyday players, and I don't think this team has enough of them. That's another reason why I think a lot of people are excited about the wave of young kids, whether it's Max Anderson or it's Max Clark or it's Kevin McGonigal or it's Jose Briseño. They are viewed as everyday guys. Where is Bryce Rayner going to play if and when he gets there? He's supposedly the better of the shortstops. McGonigal second base, Max Anderson at third base, Max Clark in center, Riley Green in left, Man I Don't Know in right, Dylan Dingler behind the plate, Briseño and Torkelson at first. You're getting more everyday players. I know people love, especially managers and some offensive line coaches. Okay. It's great that we got this new guy named Juice. All right. He can play guard. He can play tackle. Might try him out at center, all this other stuff. Good for him. Right. To me, those aren't everyday guys. And again, this could be my fault. All right. How many everyday players? This is probably an unfair example. How many everyday players do the Dodgers have? Everybody's got a standard, Trent. Everybody does. So answer the question. When you look at the Los Angeles Dodgers, how many of those guys are playing different positions? Will Smith is your catcher. Freddie Freeman's your first baseman. Can Max Muncy play first? Yes. But for the most part, Freddie Freeman is playing 140-plus games at first base. Tommy Edmonds is your second baseman. Mookie Betts is your shortstop. It's great that he can play the outfield like Javier Baez, but he's going to play shortstop every day for Dave Roberts. Teoscar Hernandez is playing in left field. Andy Paez is playing in right field. Kyle Tucker is playing in right field. Andy Paez is, I think, in center field. Yeah. And Shohei Ohtani is going to be your DH. Where's the versatility there? Betts can play center, right, short. Hell, he could probably play any position on the dime. But he's playing shortstop on a regular basis.
There's no reason to get cute with it moving around.
Right. There's a difference between having guys who can play and making that position a round robin, making it a turnstile. I want to see this team get to everyday guys that when the manager, AJ Hinch or whomever in the future, shows up at the ballpark He knows who his players and where they're going to play are, if that makes sense. And I know it's not a perfect world. I get all that. The best teams have that. They do. So when Seattle takes the field on a regular basis, more oftentimes than not, Cal Raleigh's behind the plate, Josh Naylor's at first, Brendan Donovan's going to be at second, JP Crawford's going to be at short, all that stuff. It's pretty regular. The best team in the American League going into this season will be the Toronto Blue Jays. Okay? And the Toronto Blue Jays, even though they lost a key piece in Bo Bichette, are going to have a pretty consistent team of Alejandro Kirk and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Ernie Clement and Andres Jimenez. They're going to be out there. And then you're going to have Dalton Varsho, and you're going to have Addison Barger, and you're going to have George Springer. I mean, they're penciled in on a regular basis for John Schneider, who may have thought Canada was going to win the gold medal, no problem, but they didn't. But he does know this. He knows he's got everyday guys, for the most part, on his team. Not every position. I'm not expecting every position. That's what they have to get to. This whole belief of, I love the versatility. Great. Zach McKinstry can play center and a little bit of right and some third base and some second base and some short stuff. It's important to have a player like that. Don't want him every single day in my lineup. And I know you're probably going, oh, Shep, they made the playoffs the last 2 years like this. Okay. If that's what you want to hang your hat on, making the playoffs 2 straight years, good.
That's what I was just going to say. Is that the bar now?
Championship.
That's not the bar.
I want to win a championship. Yeah, I know. At some point, raise the bar. But we can't seem to do that. We want to settle because we want to be nice about things. It's the way it works in this town, and it always has. Speaking of baseball, all-time team. And we got some texts regarding baseball as well. The Tigers all-time team. This has been a fun exercise so far. There's a certain Twitter account that is delivering the all-time teams. It's a baseball account, obviously. I differ with them in one area. So we'll get to that when we come back. Maybe give me yours when you have a moment here on X's and Bros, brought to you by Meijer.
You've worked hard for decades saving in pre-tax retirement plans like 401ks and IRAs, saving on taxes now. But as your retirement now approaches, you're going to get taxed at rates you have no control over. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Your 401k balance isn't worth what your statement says. You could lose thousands of dollars to taxes, and those distributions can impact other areas of your retirement like Social Security and Medicare. Could a Roth IRA conversion be of help to you? You've probably heard of Roth conversions, but it can be confusing. Should you convert all at once or over time? Where should you pay the taxes from? How do you know for sure? Get our free personalized Roth Blueprint analysis today to find out exactly what makes sense for you. Your Roth Blueprint could potentially increase your lifetime wealth by thousands of dollars. So get your free Roth Blueprint today. Text Blueprint to 844-867-8335. That's Blueprint to 844-867-8335. Or go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Grocery shopping is a good deal better at Meijer with low prices on fresh favorites like select bulk apples, just $1.29 a pound. Certified Angus beef chuck roast and fresh from Meijer whole chickens are buy one, get one 50% off. Plus, earn a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more in-store March 4th through the 10th. Coupon printed at checkout. Then redeem your $10 coupon March 11th through the 17th. Bringing home more of what you love for less. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for the annual Grand Rapids Griffins Purple Community Game, which is coming up on Friday, March 13th at Van Andel Arena in downtown GR. It's a night dedicated to supporting research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's at Van Andel Institute. The Griffins will be taking on the Milwaukee Admirals in special purple jerseys, and you'll have a chance to bid on a limited edition purple jersey of your own after the game. It's a night you won't want to miss. Learn more about the Grand Rapids Griffins Purple Community Game at vai.org/events and also at griffinshockey.com.
Avelo Airlines knows you love the Tigers because they love them too. It's why they have direct flights to Lakeland, Florida out of both Grand Rapids and Detroit. Thursdays and Sundays are nonstop out of GR, and Wednesdays and Saturdays are nonstop out of Detroit. So wherever you are in Michigan, you can get down to spring training to watch your Tigers. With everyday low fares, reliable service, you do not want to fly any other way. Head to AveloAir.com to book your trip now. That's AVELO air.com and use code HUGE for $20 off a round-trip base fare if you book before March 31st. Restrictions do apply.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
final hour of the program. Welcome back. Glad you're with us on this Tullymore Thursday. This hour is brought to you by our friends at Avelo Airlines, AveloAir.com. They fly direct from Grand Rapids to Lakeland. Avelo Airlines flies direct from Detroit to Lakeland, and they drop you off 20 minutes from Joker Marchant Stadium. Bill, the Huge Show, Simonson, regularly giving you the opportunity to go watch the Tigers play down in Lakeland at Joker Marchant. A lot of fun. Trust me when I tell you that. It is a blast to get down there, but there's no better way to travel than through Avelo Air. Avelo Airlines is clean. It's direct. Your bags are handled properly. I gotta fly commercial somewhere later on today. Trent's going to be in charge tomorrow and early next week too. I'm dreading it. I wish I could take Avelo Airlines to Los Angeles. I can't. You can take Avelo Airlines to Lakeland, direct from Detroit and direct from Grand Rapids. All you got to do is go to AveloAir.com today. Freddie, our good friend, always thinking of the show and helping us think. He says, we were talking earlier about the Patrick Kane celebration. Freddie said, the great Eric Dickerson was given a carrot cake when he ran for 2,000 yards. That's a true story. I believe that was through his sponsor, though. It wasn't Rue. That was Walter Payton. It was like Adidas or somebody like that. They're the ones who gave him the carrot cake. Shep, the Pistons openly tanking 2 years ago without saying it when they sat Cade for the last month of the season. Yep. Had a problem with that. A serious problem with it. And we said that on this show. Shep, Steve Eiserman, after 7 to 8 years of being here building this, he has a big chance to change this team overnight in a big way. Too many okay players who are good but disappear a lot. I've heard for years we need another defenseman. We need when we say that, what about for Mo Sider? And we need another defensive end when they say that for Mo. He needs help in a big way. Go get stars, make other players better. Well, I like Simon Edmondson. Scored a goal last night. He's got the long reach, but he could skate. I like him. I think he's a good pairing with Mo Sider. I want a defenseman too. That's why I've said Dougie Hamilton. Okay. Rasmus Ristolainen, for me, makes a lot of money. His numbers to me are a little worrisome. Freddie, you're right. I am tired of hearing about, I want to hold on to Emmett Finney. I'm just using him as the example. I want to hold on to Carter Bear. God forbid we give up Nate Danielson. You can't touch Marco Kasper. Let me ask you this question. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But if the Red Wings do you think the Red Wings are Stanley Cup worthy?
No.
Okay. Are they playoff worthy?
Yes. I think so.
I think so too.
Fringe,
I don't know
yes.
where. I don't know where, but do you think they're so deep that it's mind-blowing?
Absolutely not.
Okay. If they're not that great now, and they're looking for a center, they want a second-line center. Am I right about that? I mean, that's what a lot of people feel like that's what they're missing, okay? Top six forward, second-line center, so on and so forth. How come Nate Danielson can't make this team now? He's 21. He's put up good numbers in Grand Rapids. People see that, right? If he's that good, and I hope he is, I'm not claiming to know. He's a 9th overall pick. If he's that good, how come he's not here already? Do you think before the Olympics, let's just ask you this way, before the Olympics, do most people feel like Dylan Larkin was a premier center, a number one line guy? No, they didn't. It takes the Kachucks to tell us he's the heart and soul and all this other stuff, right? Okay. Dylan Larkin played in the NHL at the age of 19. Nate Danielson's 21. He's not going to play in the NHL this year, so it'll be 22. By the time Dylan Larkin was 22, he played almost 300 NHL games. What is he holding on to these guys for? It's not like you're trading for guys who are 38 and 39 years old. We're not looking at Alexander Ovechkin here, who's got one foot out the door. We're talking about guys who can still be part of your team and a part of a run that's going to make your team better for the next 3 to 4 years. I don't know where Nate Danielson will be in 3 to 4 years. Unfortunately for Steve Yzerman, neither does he. He thinks he does, but he doesn't know. There are people who have done this for a living who missed on Philip Zadina and passed over Quinn Hughes. And Quinn Hughes is arguably, I think it's Cale Makar, but arguably the best defenseman in the National Hockey League. All he's done is, since joining Minnesota in 30 games, have 4 goals, 34 assists, and 38 points. Minnesota's 18-7-5 with him. They were on a 112-point pace if they had Quinn Hughes the entire year. He himself, if he had been on Minnesota all year, was on a 104-point pace. He's a defenseman, I might add. Okay? A defenseman. That's how good he is. Somebody missed, right? You're damn right they did. So here's a guy who's got a just with Minnesota, 30 points. Even if he had just played with Minnesota during his tenure, not the games in Vancouver, even if it was just Minnesota, he would have more points than Emmett Finney and Simon Edvinsson and Marco Kasper and Michael Rasmussen, a first-round pick. Got to hold on to these young guys, don't we? How much of a difference maker are they? My God, man. You're still looking for a top 6 forward. You're still looking for a top 4 defenseman. We've done this for 8 years. He hasn't done, the trade deadline has not come and gone. I am so tired of young guys for the Red Wings. Seriously. At least with the young guys with the Lions, we see them play right away. And I know it's different because you're drafting guys at 18 in the NHL. I literally want to grab a pair of pliers and pull out my fingernails when I hear people talk about the Red Wings can't get rid of their young guys. Look at how good Grand Rapids is, Shep. Holy mother of God. It is so flippin' old. How long are we going to wait for Jonathan Berggren? Any idea? Or are we just going to be stuck in a situation where next time we need someone to get called up, let's call up Dominic Shine? There we go. Difference maker, man. Woo. The young guys are so good, Trent. They are so good in Grand Rapids. These young guys are going to be the future core, and you can't touch them, that Dominic Shine is getting called up. Yep. That's how it works. Okay? He's 32. With all due respect. Okay? Tough, hard-nosed dude. The young guys are such difference makers, and they can be so good at the highest level, and we've got to protect them, that we're calling up a 32-year-old journeyman. How does it make sense?
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't, and the impatience is warranted. And especially, I'll tell you what, if they miss the playoffs...
Impatience. No. Before you keep going.
Expectation?
It's not impatience. It is not impatience. It is movement. It is doing something. Your philosophy, the way it's working right now, you're having a hard time selling it to people, because when you need a young guy, the young guys you want to protect, when you need somebody to take a place of an injured player or something, you don't call those young guys up. Those young guys may be playing high in the AHL. When they get to the next level, they're not playing well. So what are you holding on to? If they're going to get you an established, solid player, would you rather have Vinny Trocheck? He's going to be under contract for 4 years. It's not a heavy hit. I think it's like $4.5 million. He's got an Olympic gold medal. He wins faceoffs. He plays in dirty areas. Would you rather have his 15, 16, 17 goals? Or would you rather hold a guy who's going to continue to make the Grand Rapids Griffins the best team in the AHL? I'll take the former. Please do something. We'll get to more texts on the other side. We're brought to you by Avelo Airlines here on X's and Bros on a Tullymore Thursday.
It's time to go on the court.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code HUGE for a special offer when you sign up. That's code HUGE, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. This is Ed Kingerski. With the Big Ten Championship and a likely #1 seed in the NCAA tournament secured, this would be a perfect time for Michigan to let up. But there's still much at stake this week. Thursday's game at Iowa is a chance to become the first Big Ten team to finish conference play undefeated on the road since Indiana in 1976. No small feat. And then there's Sunday's rematch with MSU. A win would give the Wolverines a season sweep of the Spartans, a perfect senior day celebration. Momentum is a thing in sports, and Michigan has it and hopes to keep it leading up to and through the Big Ten tournament next week at the United Center in Chicago.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious Cosmic Crisp apples, money saved. Meijer Essential Paper Towels, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
From Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Muskegon, Petoskey, Charlevoix, Traverse City, Cadillac, Lansing, and beyond, you are listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard only on the Michigan Sports Network.
Remember the example I was giving you earlier with the NBA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? It's getting a lot of play on social media this morning.
Oh, of him kicking his leg out?
Yeah.
On the jumper?
Yeah, it's getting a lot of play. Yeah, and rightfully so. Welcome back. X's and Bros, Monday through Friday. I know we get some texts. Let me finish up a few more texts here. Shep, don't do what Brad Holmes did last year. Mahogany and Glasnow are backups. Go out and get better veteran starters next to a rookie starter like Tate. That helps him a ton. And if one or two go out with injuries, then Mahogany and Glasnow are there. Right. Amen to that. 100% agreed with that. I asked this of somebody yesterday. Okay. If you let's just say, I know it's not a sexy thing. Okay. I completely understand why people don't like drafting certain positions in the NFL draft. People want, oh my gosh, I've got to have this wide receiver, this quarterback, whatever. Because guards you don't watch. They're not doing commercials. Guards they're not modeling anybody's clothier. They are not smiling for you and say, come down here and buy a washer and dryer. That's not who you're getting. You're getting guys who like to roll around, man up, pancake people. They might do a commercial for pancakes, which would be cool. Sit down at a booth and see how many you can eat. I don't know. But what if you did this? What if you signed Connor McGovern, probably $12 million, Cade Mays, probably $8 million, okay? One of those two centers. What if you took one of those two centers, Tate Ratledge, I gave you the numbers for Pro Football Focus the other day, where he's going to be better. You got Penny Sewell on the right side, Taylor Decker's back on the left side, and used your first round pick on the kid from Penn State, Ioane, the guard, considered the best guard in the draft. He's 6'4", 323 pounds. His, I don't know about the combine numbers. I don't have those steadily available. But we do know this. He's a first-team All-American, didn't allow a sack last year, didn't allow a quarterback hit, allowed 4 pressures. According to True Media, that was it. He's explosive. He's physical. He's smooth. He can move. He had a vertical jump at 31.5. There it is. Okay. What if you had a guy like that? He's a plug-and-play guy. Don't worry about him for 10 years. Suddenly you have the identity of the team that was offensive line toughness and smash mouth has now returned. And though it might not be one of those situations that 3 years down the road, you don't remember what number draft pick he was, you're just glad you got him. Because suddenly Jared Goff is better, Jahmyr Gibbs is better, and the entire offense is better. I'm just asking. And I know this team needs safeties and corners. It needs a backer. It needs another running back. I wouldn't do that in the draft. And it needs a defensive end. And you know what? Let's be honest. It probably needs a tackle too. But that's the reason you just picked up some juice from David Montgomery. He's going to back up some different spots. Suddenly, off the bench, you've got Christian Mahogany. You've got maybe Miles Frazier. You've got a little juice. And you've got a Giovanni Manu, who most people will scream when you hear him in the starting lineup. But suddenly, your offensive line is deeper. You're looking at a pitching staff, right? It's deeper. So that's good. And then you can address some other things. I'm not saying avoid the other things. I'm just saying that would be a good way to start. Suddenly, you're better. You're a lot better. Now, maybe you get a Monroe Freeling, and he plays guard and then moves to tackle next year. But either way, you're addressing that. That's how I would go about it. Now, there is some depth on the offensive line. So if you'd rather grab your number one defensive end or one of your top defensive ends, maybe that's a little different. It's just something I was thinking about the other day. And when Freddie sends us a text like that, I think he's right about that. Go get somebody. I don't want Tate Ratledge starting at center next year. I would prefer a veteran center and keep Tate Ratledge at right guard. That's the reason I like Cade Mays. He's 26 years old. He can be your center for a while, for what that's worth. Just talking about Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings trying to figure some things out and what they're doing. You folks in Grand Rapids who listen to us on our flagship station, 96.1 FM, WMAX, The Game, knows. John Leonard is their leading scorer right now. Okay, Dominic Shine is their second leading scorer. Dominic Shine's got 21 goals, and he's got 37 points down in Grand Rapids. And yet with Detroit, it's only 3 games, so it's probably not even that fair, but no points. John Leonard comes up, plays 9 games. He's got a couple of goals. Not terrible. I don't know what Detroit is holding on to in an effort that they're so fearful that guy's going to come back and haunt them. Oh my God, he's going to be the next fill in the blank. Adam Oates. Let's trade Adam Oates. He's a future Hall of Famer. And bring in Tony McKegney and Bernie Federko, for crying out loud. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about bringing in established, strong players. We're talking about guys who are going to be top 6 guys. A guy like Vincent Trocheck or a guy like Dougie Hamilton. I'm glad they didn't do the deal with Tyler Myers. I told you that yesterday. Myers goes to Dallas for a second and a fourth. I wouldn't have done it. Okay, guy at his advanced age. The East is a lot tougher than the West, but I don't think Tyler Myers helps you in that regard. I think there are other players who do. And I know people love Rasmus Ristolainen, but his numbers for me, his history, personal history, is a little tough for me to take. In the chat, Shep, they almost need to do add some teams. Got to spice it up a little bit. It's boring. NBA just isn't managed well, and compared to every other professional sport that is managed better. I wouldn't want to expand in the NBA just for the sake of expansion. I don't think there's good enough players.
That's the problem. The game is growing globally, so I'll give you that. But we're kind of now just catching up with the world players filling in some of those spots and the talent, because there's been 30 teams in the league now for how long, Shep? 25 years? More than that?
I was going to say 20, but it's probably more than that. Yeah.
So the point is, to your point, and I agree, I don't think there's enough good players to make high quality content every single night. You know what I mean? A high quality product, rather. You're just diluting it. It's such a money grab if all you're going to do is just keep adding franchises to any relatively big city.
Yeah, I think the belief is that because it's so globally that suddenly you're going to have all this huge stock of players to choose from. How many players are in the NBA right now? 450, something like that, right? You got 30 teams. Figure about 15 players a team, somewhere around those 14, 15. Right? If I can round 450, and then you got the G League. Do you think is there anybody knocking on the door from the G League that says that dude's going to be a star, man? I'm buying a ticket to go watch Danny Wolf. No, I don't think so. I wouldn't expand. That's not what I would do, but that's what they're going to do. Okay. Cause they expect more international players. That's what they're expecting. Look at college basketball. Who's the best player in college basketball? Any idea?
I say it's Cam Boozer.
Who's the guess? Well, you know what? There was, if you watched Arkansas play Texas last night, and Arkansas ran them out of the gym by 20. Right afterwards, Sean Miller, the head coach of Texas, said Darius Acuff, who was unbelievable last night, had 28 points and 13 assists. He's the best guard he's ever seen. And that dude's coached for over 24 years.
Michigan native Acuff, right?
Yeah. How about that? Said he's the best player. He's from Detroit. Quick timeout. We're back with more of your texts after this on X's and Bros.
Grocery shopping is a good deal better at Meijer with low prices on fresh favorites like select bulk apples, just $1.29 a pound. Certified Angus beef chuck roast and fresh from Meijer whole chickens are buy one, get one 50% off. Plus, earn a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more in-store March 4th through the 10th. Coupon printed at checkout. Then redeem your $10 coupon March 11th through the 17th. Bringing home more of what you love for less. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Avello Airlines knows you love the Tigers because they love them too. It's why they have direct flights to Lakeland, Florida out of both Grand Rapids and Detroit. Thursdays and Sundays are nonstop out of GR, and Wednesdays and Saturdays are nonstop out of Detroit. So wherever you are in Michigan, you can get down to spring training to watch your Tigers. With everyday low fares, reliable service, you do not want to fly any other way. Head to AvelloAir.com to book your trip now. That's AVELO air.com and use code HUGE for $20 off a round-trip base fare if you book before March 31st. Restrictions do apply.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Thanks for tuning in to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard, only on the Michigan Sports Network.
it's a little hard to talk about because in one way you want to keep your head in the game because even though it's senior night, the season's not over yet. And there's so much more basketball to be played. But on the other hand, you got to kind of prepare yourself because, I mean, I'm going to be a wreck. I'm going to be a wreck. All the highs and lows and all the memories I've had here, will never be replaced. And the best years of my life were here, growing and maturing and building relationships with everybody here.
It's Jackson Kohler, who plays his final home game as a Spartan. He'll still play at Michigan to end the regular season. He'll play in Chicago in the Big Ten tournament. He'll play somewhere, might be Chicago, in the NCAA tournament. It's senior night at Michigan State, and there are a couple on the Michigan State squad who have been with Tom Izzo from the very beginning, the beginning of their careers, not his, because he's been doing it for over 30 years. But it'll be an emotional night. I can't imagine. I really can't. I mean, these are the most formative years of your young adult life. They shape you to who you become. And it's the primary reason I think when parents, and I hope parents are involved, and where their child goes, you are giving them for what you think will be 4 years. It's not always 4 years because we know they leave early sometimes and they change to somebody who's going to turn them into a man or a young woman. And for Jackson Kohler, I would guess the influence of people like Tom Izzo and Doug Wojcik and Sadie Washington and others have been a positive one that's going to make a difference for him, not just in his basketball life, but in his entire life. And he uses those lessons. I miss those days. I do. And I don't mind saying it one bit. I miss days where we could actually come out and tell people that's a stupid idea without them whining and needing a blanket or some type of stuffed animal. I also miss the days of when players stayed for 3 or 4 years and that was their school. And when they kissed whatever logo is in the middle of the court, whether it's the Spartan S or a Block M or an IU or whatever, they meant it because they just gave their heart and their soul and their emotions to them. That's what I miss as much as anything else about not just college basketball, but college athletics. We all have to evolve, right? I get it, but it can be a little more difficult for others in certain situations. I hope he's enjoyed it. I hope he has another good game because he was really good last time out against Indiana. Might have been the best player on the floor. And I hope maybe more importantly that as he moves forward, the type of lessons he's learned he can pass on. Really important. Let's get to some more texts after that sentimental moment there for a minute. Thank you for a Bread Old song. Yeah, look up the band Bread. Go ahead.
Dylan from Lake Odessa says, hey, Shep, do you believe McGonigal can produce at the major league level the way he has in spring training, or do you think he starts in the bigs for 15 games at the AAA level to be able to control him for one more year?
That's a great question, and it's a bad look for the Detroit Tigers or any Major League Baseball team if that's what they do, if he's earned it. Do I think he can do this? Do I think he can hit 400 at the Major League level? I doubt that. If Pete Rose couldn't do it, if George Brett couldn't do it, if Tony Gwynn couldn't do it, I'm not going to say Kevin McGonigal can do it. No one's done it since Ted Williams. On the other hand, do I think he can be a consistent player? Look, it's hard for you and I to say that when he batted .254 last year at AA. The way he looks right now, the knee-jerk reaction is yes, he can be successful. That's not even my question right now. My question is whether or not he deserves to go with this team north, or in this case, since they're starting in San Diego west. That's the question that has to be answered. If he continues at this rate, and it's not always about the batting average, it's not always about the power, it's the contact, it's the exit velo, it's which pitches he's spitting on, it's how he looks in the box. And he looks as comfortable as any hitter in the Tigers lineup right now. Yeah, I take him. If you wait 15 games, hey, Kevin, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the David Fizdale conversation without anybody knowing, all right? You're going to go down for 15 games. We've got more control over you, and then we'll bring you up. Okay, buddy? How's that for a handshake deal? We can get by 15 games with Zach McKinstry and Javier Baez at short. You okay with that? Sure, I'm okay with that, coach. No problem. Well, or GM or president or whatever. If he's hitting, 340, 350 in spring, and he's impressing everybody, and everybody's talking about him, it's not just Detroit. It's not just the state of Michigan talking about him. What's that look like for Major League Baseball and for the team? Now, other teams have done it, so maybe I'm making way too much of it. That could be the case. Maybe this is too personal for me. Maybe I look at it and I say, you know what? Damn it, that kid deserves the opportunity. He's been really good. St. Louis did that with Jordan Walker. You know who Jordan Walker is? Okay. Outfielder for St. Louis. They drew all kinds of criticism. Has it hurt them? I don't know. Jordan Walker deserved to make that team. Kevin McGonigal, if it were to stop today, and we still got a long way to go, deserves to make the team. I'll go back and reiterate the same stuff I say all the time about this. 2006, Justin Verlander, Joel Zumaya, best pitchers in spring training. And Jim Leland told me I had to take them. They forced me to take them. If I don't, everybody in that room looks at me and goes, what the hell is wrong with you? They can see it too. This is not in a vacuum, man. You're not playing in the backfields where nobody's watching. Okay? Where I'm bouncing up around 5 different diamonds and watching different players. Everybody sees it. Every player and every media member and every front office person. He's opened eyes. If he continues at this rate and you don't take him, everybody in that room's going like this. Do we really want to win? Do we really have the best guys in this room right now?
Are we tanking? Too far, but
yeah,
a lot of tanking talk this morning.
Yeah. Too far. You don't sign Framber Valdez for $30+ million. Of
course not.
But you understand you understand where we're going, right? Players know this stuff. We act like all they care about is themselves and their numbers. Bull crap. They look around. They know whether their team's good or not. Justin Jefferson has talked openly. I'm not sure about the quarterback. You don't think he recognizes what J.J. McCarthy can and can't do? Hell yeah, he does. Every single guy in that room is going, that kid's the real deal right now. Doesn't mean that they've made up their mind, but 7-8 games in, you're not going to take the best guy on your team so far? Although Javier Baez is hitting like 444 too. Every player is going, man, I've heard a lot about this kid. Now I'm watching him. He's really good. And the players who've played with him says, this isn't a surprise to me. So I don't know if he can keep it up. But if he does, he's forced A.J. Hinch's hand. And that's what most managers or coaches in general would tell you. Force me to keep you. You decide. I don't. You're the one who plays yourself off the roster, not me. You're the one who plays yourself on the roster. That's what it is. That dude right now is playing himself on the roster. Okay, next text.
This one's interesting. Can we really bang on conspiracy theories when our beloved Tigers manager got busted for cheating? That was a conspiracy before they got busted, if you guys recall. At first, they thought it was whistling. Then they got him with the trash cans. Food for thought.
That's a humbling message.
I get what he's saying, because if they get away with the cheating, then it's
he's 100% right.
You can have speculation and conspiracy theories until they're busted.
Can I just say this? Here's what might be the difference. He was penalized for it. How's David Fizdale penalized for it? How are the Knicks penalized for it? I'm not banging on it. I'm asking you, I'm telling you, and by the way, that's one thing is getting busted for losing, another thing busted for winning. Okay, they're both cheating. I'm not saying one isn't or the other. I'm just saying one team is openly telling their audience, we want to lose. Come pay. Here's $50 for parking. Here's $200 for a ticket. Here's $18 for a beer. Sit in the seat and watch guys try to lose. The other team is like, I'm doing whatever I possibly can to win. I'm not saying it's okay. That manager and the GM, those people who were part of that were penalized. The guys who tanked to lose were not.
I guess the smart ass in me would say David Fizdale's punishment is he's never going to get another head coaching job.
But David Fizdale coached the next year.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Okay. David Fizdale was an assistant coach the following season.
But he wasn't
season after that.
He wasn't admitting to the tanking at that time, though.
Correct.
Publicly.
AJ Hinch did admit publicly to the tanking to the cheating and was penalized for it. Whether that's long enough for you or not is not for debate.
No, I think it's a good question. I do. And I understand where they're coming from, but I like your answer about how, he took his lumps for it and now he's back on top. Well, he's got a job and he's a very good manager.
There's other guys who've cheated.
Cans.
There's plenty of guys who've cheated, unfortunately, in sports in general. And we don't like it. We didn't like it. And how much were they truly punished? Hall of Fame, yeah. Guys like Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Roger Clemens, right? Players like that. Others, not. But it's weird, man. It is. It's an ethics type debate more than anything else. All right, one more. Go ahead.
The people that don't like Max Clark and the chains are the same people that will go buy his jersey as soon as he's an all-star.
That's so true.
That's
well put.
Bullseye.
Yeah. If he's an all-star, yeah. I mean, again, guys, we don't know. We just don't. We don't know whether these guys are going to be good or not. We've seen young guys before and thought they were going to be really good, and it takes a while, or they don't end up being as good, and it's surprising. Okay, we have a hard time saying we're not sure yet or waiting. I said it the other day, and there's some people who gave me some brushback. I'm not making a judgment on Kevin McGonigal yet. Everybody else wants to after 7 or 8 games. Okay, that's cool. Personally, I wouldn't do that. You know what? I wouldn't do that if it was on the negative side. That's why I'm saying I'm not judging Max Clark for batting right now at 113, 2 for 15 on the spring. I'm not doing that. We get too caught up on things way too quickly. And we have too many examples of players in the past who have not been able to do it, not been able to come through after starting really strong. I don't have to bring up Chris Shelton and Brendan Bosch, do I? I hope not. I hope I don't have to bring up Jeremy Bonderman and players like that. I mean, come on. And that's just baseball. We've got other players too, where guys start out strong and suddenly they fall off. I've used this example before. Alek Manoah, he was an all-star. He's out of baseball within a couple of years because of problems. Final results of the poll question. Yesterday's poll question was this, and thank you for the feedback, by the way. It's fantastic. We asked you this. Which center, keyword, which center should the Red Wings trade for? Robert Thomas, Elias Pettersson, Vincent Trocheck, or other? What did most people say?
By an eyelash, Robert Thomas gets 39%. Vinny Trocheck with 38%. So a 1% difference for Thomas. Pettersson got 17%, only 6% said other.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. One is because Thomas is 26. B, Trocheck is physical, even though he's not a big guy, but he plays tough. Pettersson is more finesse. So I'm with you on that.
For what it's worth, real quick, we did get 2 replies, one of them being our good friend Freddie that said Austin Matthews.
Oh, yeah. I'd take Austin Matthews in a minute.
Yeah, now you're talking.
But you'd have to give up an awful lot for that. You would have to give up two top players for Austin Matthews, among others. Draft picks, I don't care. Prospects, depending on the prospect, I don't care. I don't necessarily want to give up Simon Edvinsson and Lucas Raymond. And I think that it would require something along those lines. Marco Kasper, sure. I don't want to touch really my top 5 forwards, but you're going to get a number 1 center in return. So if I'm Toronto, I'm asking for Lucas Raymond, Simon Edvinsson, a couple of prospects, and a couple of picks. That's what you'd have to do. No. Raymond, Edvinsson, I like Edvinsson a lot. 2 pieces that are pretty hard to replace. You need a number 3 defenseman. Now you're going to tell me you need another 2 defensemen too? That might be a little difficult, but I love where your head is at. The poll question for today, well, do you expect the Red Wings to make a trade? Yes or no? The deadline is tomorrow at 3:00. Let's get to the Daily Wager. How did you do on the Daily Wager?
The Red Wings lost, but the Daily Wager won because we took the over 6 goals, 3-3 going into OT. We knew we had a winner there. Knights win it. So tonight we got the Pistons at the Spurs. The Pistons are getting 3 points. They're underdogs, rightfully so. The last time these two teams played, it was a shellacking. However, I will take the +3. I don't know if the Pistons win, but I think they keep it within a bucket. I do, because I think Cade Cunningham comes back with a vengeance after a poor shooting night against Cleveland. They keep this thing close. Yeah. I don't know if they win it, Shep, but I'm expecting a much better game from the Pistons.
I'm expecting a better game than when they lost by 11 or whatever at home. But I wouldn't go that route. I would probably take San Antonio with that. I think San Antonio's a really good basketball team, man.
They are.
And Cade Cunningham can go off all he wants, but you need some other guys who have been passengers. They've got to be better. Sorry. And we're going to come to a point where, nobody wanted to trade Asar Thompson or Ron Holland because of what they've done defensively and athleticism and versatility and so on and so forth. And that's fine. But we've got to be honest too. And it's early, but at some point, maybe it's next year, Asar Thompson and Ron Holland have to be more offensive threats, and they're not. And that may be tough for you to hear if you're a huge AT fan, but it's true. They need more than what they're getting from those two guys. Cade Cunningham's back is getting tired. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate all the feedback on the YouTube channel, on Twitter, on X, or I should say, and
safe travels, Shep.
Via text. Trent will take you tomorrow and early next week. Have a great show with him. We'll be back later next week, but Trent will be back tomorrow here on X's and Bros, starting at 6.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community. Just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements, this center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact that Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to Kirk Gibson